good, one's bad, yeah, they're really always like this. We don't know who's who, but at least we know who Mike is. They love to complain, they got sports on the brain, and they frequently drive each other insane. It's the good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. It's the good and the bad and the Mike.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Good, the Bad and the Mike. I'm Oisin, that's Cian.
Hello.
And that's Mike.
Hello.
Now, after last week's episode where we previewed the Europa Conference League, the Europa League and the Champions League, I think there's a new tournament starting this week that we should definitely preview. That's clearly the Carabao Cup, what everyone wants to talk about.
Is this what happens when I miss the production meeting again? Is you just agree on a bunch of topics and not tell me?
No, I didn't tell Mike this either.
He's completely low-faulty. He's going rogue.
I sat there and I was sitting down earlier and saw that the Carabao Cup started this week, and I was like, yes, I'm going to make a joke about how we're going to preview the Carabao Cup.
Going to do all first round competition.
I wouldn't mind, but we had the production meeting for an hour before this, and that once wasn't mentioned. And I'm just like, that is not anything we said we mentioned.
I thought it'd be funny to just spring it on you, and it was. I enjoyed it.
That's fair.
We're not actually going to cover the Carabao Cup. No.
Only top quality competitions.
Oh man, it would have been so good. Actually, did you see? Just all right. We're going to go straight into the news, and this is going to be my first piece of news. Did you see Pep Guardiola's comments? I think it was earlier today in his press conference. He said,
No.
Oh, hold on. He said something like, "We don't have everyone available, so we're going to have to play some youngsters." Talking about their game against Wickham, the weekend or during the week, and it's like, even if you, I don't have any alternative. We are going to play a few young players, and you're like, your bench is one of the most expensive benches in history.
But when you think about it, right, they're at home to Wickham, like. Their still fans are going to be outnumbered by the Wickham fans, so
that is
I
true.
kind of see what he's coming from.
Which ties into a bit of news.
Yes.
My cat.
Yes, good prediction. So, we just going to talk about the story that shouldn't have been a story until Pep made it a story last week.
Yes.
I heard comments about this, and I really don't understand what he's like. What did he say?
He essentially just called out just after the Champions League game when. Yeah, if everyone can come and fill out the seats in the stadium on Sunday, we really need a boost. The tough team we're playing. And everyone's like, why make that a thing? Everyone knows it's the empty hat. It's been a joke for a reason. Don't call it out. And now.
The head of the
City
supporters club, the City fans club got really pissed off about it as well. Oh, he started calling out like, "Oh, we don't just because we don't have tourists coming from everywhere else, like Chelsea, Liverpool, and United," and everyone else was like, "Oh yeah, because no one wants to travel to see the mighty atmosphere of the Etihad." Like you're making a joke of yourselves still.
I mean, I remember they had someone rehash the picture. Well, do you remember when COVID football just reset? And they had the giant TVs. You had to go with the fan cams.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did, yeah.
City couldn't even fill the 9 boxes with fans.
Yeah.
3 of them had the Premier League logo on it.
Yeah, I did see that. That was kind of funny.
I wonder if he blamed the lack of fans for their draw against Southampton at the weekend.
Oh, undoubtedly.
I really hope he did. So they should have been winning that game.
But, like, why make that a story, Pep? Like, they had a nice win. I don't know what ticked him off.
He said he wasn't going to apologise for it either.
They've always had capacity issues, though, don't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's it. Everyone knew it, but you didn't have to make it a story. No one
it's not
talked
like
about
they
it as
need
a
the
problem.
money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of get it, if he's trying to drum up some interest, but I feel like there's better ways of doing it.
That is true, but it's also, he's been there for what, 5 years? Has he now?
Sure.
I think it's about that, but I'm not 100%.
I don't know.
So, why after the 5th just go, how come we're not getting people down?
Yeah, it's like Sheikh Mansour was like, just give it 5 years, see if we get the fans in. And
Then
he's like,
start
"Nah,
chatting shit.
Just haven't. How much do we get to get the Wellstone Raider to go to be the only fan in their game against Wickham and just sit there just shout, because you got no fans.
5 years is right, Mike. He joined in 2016.
Well done, Mike.
Who needs a
done.
fact checker?
Fucking nailed it. If you'd said it with more confidence, then you could say who needs a fact checker, but you really didn't.
Yeah, you did phrase
Yeah.
it as a question. You gotta have more balls.
I'm Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, that whole situation just hilarious.
Is there talks? I thought I heard talks of him say he's leaving in a year, or he's gonna leave if fans are unhappy. He'll just leave.
I don't
That
think
one
so.
fan.
I think he said his contract is up in it runs out in 2023, and he said I think he said after 7 years at this team, I think I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to take a break. So he'll leave in 2023 when his contract is up.
Oh, and actually, all right, we were talking shit about City because they're playing Wickham, but after Wickham, then they play Chelsea, PSG, and Liverpool. So
All away
United-
apparently as well.
And
is all away, yeah.
United's not far off. Those games as well.
United's November from the looks of it, unless Google hasn't
Is it?
updated. I'm just thinking
Well,
that, like, I
think
mean,
it's-
yeah. Oh my God, are Man City the LA Chargers of football?
In what sense?
In the sense that there's more away fans at their games than home fans.
It's
I
not a
mean-
bad shout.
It's possible.
Close, but we'll say there's still enough City fans.
That's fair. They might outnumber them a little bit. Because that was one of my favorite memes of last year, of the Chargers not having to play 16 away games in their season, that they had no fans, so they were happy with the empty stadium.
Speaking of the NFL, boom.
All
One
right,
piece
am I
of news.
breaking up or is Ushin breaking up?
No, it's you.
Okay, keep it going.
Oh,
Grant,
thank
keep
God
it
for
going
that.
Fair.
Thanks for calling me out on the podcast, Keen.
I'm just checking. Well, if anything, I called me out, and I wanted to know because I said something, and then there was a long pause when nobody said anything, and I just hear Ushin say the NFL. So I was like, I clearly missed something.
Oh, Oshin had a big transition and
A
made
really
it fact
nice
of it by going boom.
transition, and, yeah.
Okay, I look forward to listening it when I listen back to this in the next few days. Sorry, keep going, Ushin.
I read during the week that apparently the Raiders filed a complaint with the NFL about a number of dirty hits on Hunter Renfrow from the Ravens during their Week 1 Monday Night Football game.
Hmm.
I didn't hear a huge amount of coverage about either the hits or the complaint or the aftermath of the complaint. But I found it
No.
really interesting that it actually occurred. Did either of you watch that game?
I watched the game and I did see bits where, players were down on the ground, but I just thought I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was obviously in the way the game works is most plays are reviewed anyway, hits.
Yeah.
They weren't picking it up, so
No,
I
there's
did
actually there was one thing which is funny. I remember one of the first times I watched college football was one of the national championship games. And I've always liked Hunter Renfrow because he was a walk-on who scored like 2 touchdowns in that game. This was going back years. So I've always been aware of Hunter Renfrow, so I've kept up to it. And I just remember watching, and I didn't even watch that game, but I remember looking at the stats thinking that he had a very good game for, a 3 to 4 option wide receiver. And that's just funny that you brought it up because I remember thinking, geez, he's playing well. And it's surprising now to learn that apparently he got the shit kicked into him while playing well. Very happy with that.
Apparently so. Paddy Queen got called on one of them, but apparently
No,
the Raiders
he's
were,
good. He's
apparently
that
the
now.
Raiders were putting together a compilation of all the dirty hits
Okay,
on Hunter
this-
Renfrow.
This just in, Hunter Renfrow is a bitch. That I called him out.
Just because Paddy Queen hit him once.
Maybe.
kid's favorite child.
Did he yell "Yes, Queen" at the end of it? Then I'm gonna let it go. He could do anything and scream "Yes, Queen," and I'm gonna let it go.
Very fair.
How bad does it feel, Keith, to have your icon play for a
It
division
hurts.
rival
It hurts a lot.
when Paddy Creed tackles for loss against Baker Mayfield? Yeah,
Yes, Queen. Go find that in your yard, Sam.
I have more NFL news. Mike, do you have any NFL news?
Yeah. Hard Knocks is apparently coming the November series and going to be in season, which I think would be great.
Going to the Colts, did you say earlier, Keith?
Yes,
Or
the
Mike?
Colts.
Whoever said it?
Mike said
The
it. Yeah.
Colts, which I think is going to be a shit show. So I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
I'm intrigued by it, but most of the reason I like it is because you get emotionally attached to players who may or may not make the team for the preseason version. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how they change that,
But
what they're going to drive the story as. Because I mean, like in the regular season, you're not going to see Zeke stealing any bikes. That's what I'm getting at. You know, there ain't going to be none of that going on.
I wonder if they'll have as much access as well as they do in preseason, because I would assume that the way teams set up and the
I
way
assume it'll
teams
be-
practice is very different from preseason to regular
Yeah,
season.
be heavily
True.
vetted.
Yeah,
I guess it'll be maybe also 2-week delay, maybe, or a week delay, so it's not
Oh, at
aired
least,
just
yeah.
before. Yeah, so it's not. Here's the game plan. Let's watch Hard
Yeah.
Knocks quick. Run the ball.
No, that's definitely true.
but it'll be interesting to see. It's the first time they're doing it mid-season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, because I think from what I heard, the producers were looking at saying the Formula One is gaining a lot of popularity.
Yeah, that's very
I think
fair.
All or Nothing had a few good things. Speaking
I
of
have
which,
been
All or
meaning to watch
Nothing
that.
is with Arsenal this season, and I think that's going to be
Yeah,
a great
it's
thing to
fucking
watch.
Shit show, and I can't wait to watch it.
First time someone gets relegated live on TV.
I didn't realize
That was Sunderland Till I Die.
that
Yeah,
was-
fuck.
Yeah, that was actually. I really
Never watched
enjoyed
that.
Sunderland Till I Die, to be honest.
It was
I watched,
great.
like, I watched like 2 episodes of it.
Just very quickly, Drive to Survive also apparently was with the McLaren team at Monza when they got their race win, so I'm pretty hyped about that. I didn't realize Feyenoord had a documentary about them. It's on Disney
Okay.
Plus, and I cannot remember what it's called off the top of my head. But it just seems like a very strange.
Please tell me it's Fire Nerd or never.
Oh, I fucking hope it is. Oh, interesting. It's that one word, Feyenoord.
Oh,
I mean,
That's it.
yeah, no, it's.
classy, sure, but less exciting.
Yeah, I like the rhyme. I like that it rhymes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a watch at some point, but I just haven't yet.
It
But-
shall be an interesting watch. Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
forward to it.
I have a fun fact here that I told Mike that I had a fun fact, but I didn't tell him what it was.
Yes, this he actually brought up at the production meeting, not the Cowbell Cup.
Tom Brady is apparently 14 touchdown passes away from throwing more touchdowns in his 40s than he did in his 20s, which seems pretty insane.
What? Give me that again?
He's 14 touchdown passes away from throwing more touchdowns in his 40s than he did when he was in his 20s.
That would
That's
be
insane.
yeah, I can see that. Brady's early years weren't touchdown savvy. It's only till 2007 that he lit it up with Randy Moss and Walker.
Yeah, and he has had, like, even just this year, they've already had, like, 8 passing touchdowns.
They have quite
In
a,
2
quite a bit
games.
anyway. Did you see? He said he feels like he could play until he was 50.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to stop watching the Tampa Bay game as it hurt so much seeing Brady throw to Gronk and only Gronk.
I really hope he does stay playing until he's 50.
Well, he still has 1 more Super Bowl to go till he catches Belichick, so that might be all his targets then.
Week 4, we're gonna make sure he knows who's who.
The Mac attack's gonna get him.
As long as he doesn't intentionally ground it.
Well,
Such a
we know how good Belichick is against first-year quarterbacks. How good is he against 23rd-year quarterbacks?
I don't know.
That's an interesting point, Cian, given my next bit of news, which I just have written down here as Zach Wilson, oof.
Oof.
Ooh, it was an oof and a half.
Yeah, it really was.
Like, as a Patriots fan watching that game, even I was saying, Zach, don't throw it for the love of God. It's going to get picked.
I know.
Like it was very
How
difficult
many
to
did
watch.
he end with? I know his first two
4.
passes were
Finished
his
with
first two, and then he
4.
finished with 4. Jesus.
But he was
One of
already
them-
getting
okay.
booed by the crowd after 2,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
Alright, to be fair, one of them, it's you can say 2. No,
I'd
it's
say,
just one.
like-
Is the one out of Corey Davis' hands. The second one, you could say that's
Yeah.
unlucky that it goes through his hands, but 3 and 4, I don't know who he's thrown to other
Trying
than
to
a
remember
Patriot.
him.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Maybe he was
Wide open.
auditioning for Bill and going, here,
I still-
just trade for me next year.
Still can't get over Mac Jones's accidental fumble for the
you
run.
mean forward pass, shovel pass.
I mean, the pass went backwards because he was looking back, and it was just the luckiest play of all time. He just happened to
Greatest
be
play.
handing it off, and then he got tackled and just left the ball mid-air for him by accident. Oh,
Excellent ball control.
sure.
That's
In
all the
Mac we
NFL
trust.
news I had.
Yes.
Mike, do you have another bit of news?
Yes, so this is the funny small story. So a bit of a history was made. Wolves are becoming the first UK football club to launch their own record label.
Wait, what?
You heard that correctly. Wolves will become the first UK football club to launch their own record label.
Who's going to release their first record?
Jimmy Bullard.
Oh, I hope so.
I believe it's Steve from the stands with It's All Gone Quiet Over There. Surprisingly releasing next week.
I was just trying to think about the most Wolves man I could think of, and Jimmy Bullard was the first thing that came to mind.
Jimmy Bullard's an interesting choice. I don't know why, but when I think of Jimmy
He
Bullard, I
wasn't
think
at Wolves,
of,
was he?
No, he was at Hull.
Hull,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
I was
Hull,
I
thinking
think
of.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's All right.
I guess
I
it'll be
fucked up.
Adama Traore, oil me up.
Has
Oh
to be
my,
a
oh
dab,
my god, oil me up. I'd buy that.
Wonder what happens if you type Mr. Wolves, Mr. Wolves FC into Google, and
Or
No.
maybe, you know,
you get a Mr.
Other-
Wanderers mug.
other club favourites as 99 Portuguese players on the team.
Oh, there's an actual Mr. Wolves, Mr. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Oh, you can get like interesting.
Want
Like
to
Mis-
elaborate
like-
there? Rush?
No, like you know the Mr. Men.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
can get like
There's
a
the Mr. Wolf.
well, I don't know if it's like official, but you can get like Mr. Wanderers and Mr. Wolverhampton Wanderers stuff. Interesting.
Interesting.
We learn something new every day.
I
Yes.
mean, I'm looking at their notable players, and none of them are very notable.
Honestly, that was probably a better
It
thing
wasn't.
to look up.
Mister. Yeah, you just end up with one of those, the strongman competitions. Mr. Wolverhampton. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Some more news that I had then was from Champions League news. We had this is the one I was disappointed you didn't have, Keen. A good win for Sheriff.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that makes sense.
forgot about that. Yeah, I
Right.
To be
talked a
fair,
lot of shit about that.
Keith's only a bandwagon fan.
That is true.
Yeah, that is very true. I'm very fickle.
Yeah, you wouldn't see Keane showing up at their stadium.
That's a guarantee he doesn't even know who was against. Even though
Oh,
we just talked about all
100%,
the
yeah.
whole group.
It was Dynamo Kiev one of them?
It was Shakhtar, Shakhtar Donetsk.
Same
Ooh,
country, isn't it?
Oh, you'd be lucky to say that, Keith. If you were in Ukraine, you wouldn't be saying that.
Actually, yeah, no, it's not the same club, Keane. It's not the same country.
Is it not?
FC Sheriff Tiraspol are currently 4th in the Moldovan National Division.
No, but it's
No,
Shakhtar
talk to
Donetsk.
Shakhtar.
are
Oh,
Ukrainian,
Shakhtar,
and
yes,
Who
yes,
did
yes,
I
yes,
say?
yes, yes,
Kiev.
yes. Yeah.
I know.
Are Shakhtar Ukrainian? I think
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they're
want to
second
say
in the
yes.
Ukrainian Premier League, so
Then they're Ukrainian.
yeah. One
Um,
of those Liechtenstein things, but I doubt it.
Keane, do you even know what FC Sheriff Tiraspol's stadium is?
Oh fuck no.
Do you even know what
It's
farm
the,
to table is, Keith?
It's the Sheriff. It's the Sheriff Sports Complex.
Oh my god. I just love
Sheriff
the
is in
fact that they're-
quotes as well, by the way. It's the Sheriff Sports Complex.
I'd like to think it was like the jailhouse or something.
I just love their badge. Honestly, that just does it for me. The star badge.
I love that their forward is a Adama Traore.
I did
What?
see it's a
Yeah,
Traore.
it's actually Adama
Is it?
Traore.
Is it actually a dollar?
Oh
Yeah,
my
it
god,
is,
it
yeah.
is.
A Traore.
Oh, but he's
He's
he,
from
oh
Mali.
my god. Yeah, and he's also about a third the size of
So what you're saying
regular
is
David
he's
Traore.
the opposite Traore,
Yeah.
the nigga Adama Traore.
Hey, he's got 5 goals in 9 Champions League matches this season.
He's lathered up with Velcro instead of oil.
That's actually a pretty solid turnaround. Like 5 goals in 9 Champions League matches this season. Obviously, it includes their qualifiers, but
Yeah.
Alright, I suppose.
but
got
yeah,
really
he's a
excited
knockoff
there.
of Adama Traore.
He pretty much is.
Other Champions League news was that Young Boys beat United thanks to a 95th minute winner.
Yeah.
Things we love to see.
That game, I just don't understand the logic behind it. Even though they went out 10 minutes,
Definitely should not have just Google searched Young Boys.
Why?
I just wanted to have a look at the match report between them United.
Right, well, Keane slowly gets arrested.
Yeah.
It was nice knowing you, Keane.
I know.
And we understand who's the bad now. They could have had the mic. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah. Fuck. I should put FC at the end of it, but I didn't.
Keane
bother.
Rush, everyone. It's been a good career.
Yeah. Down to the good and the mic next week.
But yeah, even though they went that, I don't understand why they decided to go. You know what? Let's go ultra defensive and try and hold to our 1-0 lead. Surely, with the squad and quality they had, they could have still gone on the attack.
You
I
would
mean,
think.
they had 2 shots the entire game.
Yeah, it's because
That's
they
quite
just
bad.
decided to pack up shop.
Pack it in.
That's where my head went as well. Yeah, it must just be it was a shocking performance. I didn't see what the red card was for either.
It's he tries to control it, he miscontrols it, and he goes in for it, and he does, studs up,
No.
hits your man
It's
on the shin.
also worth
So-
pointing out that Rafael Varane, this is United against Young Boys, but Varane got booked for time wasting in the 64th minute when they were still 1-0 up.
Oh yeah, like it was very adamant that there was time wasting going on watching that game.
Even when they equalised and it got back to 1-1, the
No,
subs
you know what
made were Jesse Lingard in for Cristiano Ronaldo and Matic in for Fernandes. Like,
See, I agreed with the Lingard. I said to myself, justify was okay. They're probably thinking Ronaldo's 30, 37, 38. He doesn't have the legs to do all that. At least Lingard, you could use his pace to go on the counter, but they weren't even utilizing the counter, which just nullified it.
yeah.
At one stage, I think Jesse Lingard ended up playing in midfield just because they brought another sub on. I think they brought Martial on and put Lingard into midfield.
They
And confirm
centre
Martial
mid,
came on.
It took off Fred, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
and that's
don't
where
know.
Lingard was in that position then to make the back pass.
Such a weird
Yeah.
decision, but it's okay because Ole's at the wheel.
Oh, speaking of
he's at the
United and
wheel.
weird decisions, thoughts on David Moyes bringing on Mark Noble to not score
so
that penalty?
Oh yeah.
So poor. Like,
Is
Clearly
Mark
at the-
Noble like a renowned penalty taker?
He has, yeah, he's been very good at penalties.
but
Um,
he hasn't even played like the last few games. So it was just such a strange thing to do.
Mark Noble.
That it's your first
if you type
touch.
into Google, it goes Mark Noble age,
Yeah.
then Mark Noble penalty conversion rate,
I was just about to say I was looking it up. Yeah,
and then Mark Noble wife because apparently
thank-
that's
That's
Thank
always-
God for
if you-
Keane.
if you
Thank
look
God
up-
for Keane. It's now his average age search has just gone back into the middles now. He's
Yeah,
gone
we're
from
fine.
young boys to
Right.
Mark Noble. It should even out about the 20s now.
God.
so in 2020, Mark Noble was rated as the player with the second highest conversion rate for penalties in the world over the last 20 years, with a conversion rate of 90.5%. Only Robert Lewandowski had higher at 91.1%. So I'd say he's pretty good at penalties.
He's alright, I guess.
But
He's
it's
kind of like
it's a
a
bit of a
specialty.
weird one. Like bringing on England, it's the same thing England did in the Euros. Bringing on a
Yeah.
player just so he can take a penalty
Yeah.
is a very
Was
dodgy move.
Was that always his plan? Was just to sit there and wait till they got a penalty and then send Mark Noble on? Or if they got a penalty, say in the 60th minute, would somebody else have taken it?
It would have been someone else, I reckon.
I would say so too.
Like,
Probably.
yeah, after watching the England and seeing all three of the subs that came on missed penalties, and the Euros not being that far off, it would have been in his head said, maybe this isn't a good idea.
True. Maybe it isn't the right time to send somebody on in the 96th minute or whatever the fuck it was.
For their first touch.
Yeah.
No pressure, Mark. In more Champions League news and our weekly shit on Barcelona segment,
Do.
Barcelona lost to Bayern Munich 3-0, I think.
Yeah.
And they finished the game without taking a shot on target for the first time in Champions League history.
You want to shit on
Just
them even
a
more?
fun fact. Oh, well. Yeah, go on. Oh, they're
Apparently
losing
1 down 0
1-0
to
down.
Granada.
Yeah. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Apparently, I heard reports that actually after the loss to Bayern Munich, the board held like a 1 a.m. meeting where they discussed whether or not they should sack Coleman.
Yeah.
And the only reason that the board was split is because it would apparently cost them 12 million to sack him. But like that's not great. Like what a confidence boost that is for you.
But it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's common spot. Like, literally, he's like, alright, whose do we actually have?
Yeah, who's still here?
Who's actually signed?
All the talk was apparently that they thought he set up too defensively, and a lot of people online were saying, like, look at who they had and how else do you expect him to set up. But
Well,
also,
yeah,
Trino?
it
was
was
it
3
3-0?
0 yeah. So even if they set
Yeah,
up
it was.
defensively, they
So-
didn't do too well.
Didn't Bayern spank them like 2 years ago, like 6 something?
8-2.
So if anything, it's an improvement.
It was 8-2, and Coutinho, who was on loan from Barca at the time,
Yes.
came on and scored
Twice.
twice. Yes, against them. That's
Oh, I
fantastic.
did recently find out as well that Barca didn't have to pay Liverpool the extra money for Coutinho winning the Champions League with Bayern.
Interesting.
Wasn't that a thing for a little bit? That apparently because it wasn't with, was it him?
To be
Yeah,
fair,
who won
yeah,
the Champions
there was-
League, not with Barcelona.
To be
That
fair,
they
there was
didn't actually have to pay
reports
him.
anytime he did anything that Barca had to pay more because of it.
There
Oh,
is
fair.
the one. There is
But-
the one though that is reported. That maybe it's the games. Amount of games is coming up.
Oh, fair.
Which makes no difference because Liverpool have sold that loan.
Oh yeah, no, but
Uh,
I'm not talking in terms of Liverpool. I'm talking about Barcelona.
Yeah,
and it's just
Barca having
like,
to
Yeah,
pay
we're gonna
money.
have to play him, but if we do, it's gonna cost so much more money.
In live football news, Derry City have taken the lead against Bows in the 91st minute.
Oof.
After being 1-0 down, they came back to 2-1. Bows equalised in the 81st, and Derry have taken the lead again in the 91st minute.
Oof.
There's 1 minute left. So
Oof.
I'll let you know if Bows score. If not, just assume Derry won.
And they never heard from him again.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have any more news?
Yes. So here's what it came to me a few days ago, and I'd like to get your opinion. So I know we previously mentioned the U.S. soccer team, women's soccer team, and their fight for equal pay.
Mm.
We did.
So, basically what came out, the CBA came out, which they have rejected, which the federation are like saying, we give you what you want, why are you rejecting? Basically what they said they were doing were, to make it fair, so they're going to get the 2 World Cup totals from the men and the women, teams in a prize pool,
Yeah.
will be just split evenly. They'll add them together and split evenly.
Ah.
Right.
And the women are just, and the men have both rejected it, saying, no, we don't want to do that. And they're like saying, well, we're going to try and make sure that any deal will have this to make it fair. Which I think is fair on them. That's,
So
I don't know
FIFA are
what
trying to do
more.
that.
No, that's what the US are trying to do, to make it
Oh.
equal pay, because they're saying that's the big difference is the men's World Cup pool is 400 million, the women's is 40 million.
Yeah.
So they can't really say, we're going to give you this amount.
That's
That's the
interesting.
thing. That's what they want, though. Is them to say,
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
give
so
you this amount, which is
they get the
insane.
thing.
You're looking at
So
the amount
currently-
of sponsorships and stuff the
Yes.
men's team
Currently,
brings in.
it also, in the last 6 years, the women have actually earned more than the men. It's in terms of taxes. So total pay, the men earned, I think this over 6 years, have earned 18 million
Yeah.
total pay. The women team have earned 24 million. Per game, the men earn $212,639 compared to the women's $220,747.
But
That
that is
seems very high.
because
because
the
they're
women's
winning.
team, yeah,
Yes.
and the
Also
men's team are shit.
included in the women's deal that's not in the men's deal is 20 players have a base salary of 100K guaranteed, regardless if they play or not. 11 players salaries of 62 to 67K, one-time signing bonus of 230,000, ticket revenue share of 150 per ticket, and 5,000 bonus for first place at She Believes tournaments and the Four Nations tournament. Severance benefits, injury protection, health, dental, vision insurance, pregnancy play, guaranteed rest time, childcare assistance, partnership bonuses tied to increase viewerships, annual payment dues of players' likeness, good faith effort, minimum number of games, and 250,000 to 350,000 post World Cup tour.
Right.
It's
Didn't
part
really
of the
listen
deal.
to any of that because
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
a long list.
it was a lot of
Yeah.
numbers.
That was a
Yeah,
lot of
It
numbers.
sounds more like something you'd expect from a club contract as opposed to a
Yeah,
national
it
team
really
contract.
does.
Yes. So that's the whole argument that the judge made on it, saying, well, if you go through all this and the numbers, you've earned more than the men. If anything, the equality thing
Like,
is
no, it's
the
not. It's like if you look at the last 6 years, that number is skewed heavily because the women's team won 2 World Cups and the men didn't qualify for any. So if the men had
Yes.
qualified for that World Cup, that would have skyrocketed them well into the lead.
You would think that, but the women have benefited also from the case of, because the men didn't play because of COVID, regardless of there being no games, the women were getting paid for the no games because of their guaranteed payments.
Well, that just seems like smart business.
It really
Yeah,
does,
it's the CBA. That's what the women
Yeah.
want, though, is the more, they want to keep their deal, but have the men's bonus and pay as well, is their
Fair.
argument at the moment. And the poor US Federation are like saying, we're offering you the deal, we're going to split the prize pools. I think that's the fairest way.
It's worth pointing out that actually they're earning more to play for the women's national team than they are for the club. I've just looked up the women's league in the US has a minimum salary of 22,000 and a max salary of 52,500.
Jeez, I didn't
Which-
think they'd have a max salary.
Yeah, they also have
Which-
salary caps.
Yeah.
I suppose I kind of understand it. Like, I don't know the current state of women's football in America. I thought it was decently well.
Oh, it's
but
quite popular
yeah.
in America. It's very popular.
So the maxing it is weird for most sports over there, but
Yeah.
I understand it
So-
from a club's point of view. But 50
It'll
grand
be-
is not much.
It
It will
really
be.
isn't. Like
Yeah.
if we look at, I'm trying to see if I can find the what do you call them? Chelsea, I think, are like huge in women's football.
Women's,
I'm trying
yeah.
to find what
Yeah.
their salaries are, but it's kind of difficult.
Fair. Did you see the Irish women's team has signed a deal with Sky Sports to become their main sponsor, I think, now going forward?
I did see that. Yeah, that's great news for them because I think that's a good bit of money coming in
Yeah, it should be.
now, which is huge. Ah, actually, to be fair, in the Women's Super League, nearly all Women's Super League players earn less than 35,000 a year, apparently.
Yeah, I can see here
So-
from a Guardian article on September last year. It says players can earn up to 200 grand, £200,000 a year, with the salary start at approximately £20,000.
Yeah, this thing that says nearly all earn under 35,000 is from 2018, so it's possibly gone up by then.
Probably gone up a bit, but I wouldn't say it's drastically different from the American League.
Yeah, apparently at the time, Steph Houghton, the England women's national team captain, earned 65,000, and that was like abnormally high. So actually, there's not a huge difference between the American League and the European League.
Mm.
While we're at it, the U.S. Soccer Federation has thrown shots at the U.S. women's team. By quoting here, and I'm reading the quote, it will not agree to a CBA with either union that doesn't take the important steps of equalizing FIFA's World Cup prize pool money. That issue has been a sticky point with players on the U.S. national women's team, 28 of which are currently engaged in a lawsuit alleging gender discrimination over violations of equal pay. So that's a bit of a shot at them.
Yeah.
Shall be an interesting story to keep an eye on.
True. Yeah, that goes. So Mike now has Poland and women's
US
women's equality in America.
I'm standing live in the Capitol building.
Yeah. We'll go to Mike live from his bathroom. Mike, how's things going on over there?
Mike,
My
do
office.
you have any other news?
Oh, yes. So, quick small one. Sadio Mane reaches 100 goals in the Premier League.
Great for him.
That deserves a round of applause. He also broke another record that weekend.
Cheers, kid.
He's now scored against Crystal Palace for the 9th consecutive game, which breaks Robert Van Persie 8 consecutive games with a goal against Stoke.
Yeah, but can I do it on a rainy, cold night in Stoke?
That's a fair point.
So, kudos for him. I look forward to Kostas Tsimikas' assists.
His banterful tweets again.
Yes. The other thing that came to me, guys, and I want to get your opinions on it because I know it really pissed me off. So I thought I'd ask you guys. Throughout the summer, do you remember there was the whole Kane thing going on? Would we go to City and all this?
Vaguely. I vaguely remember.
Yeah,
something
vaguely
like this
remember.
coming up,
But
yeah.
Gary Neville was saying, if United get Kane, they'll win the league. Like, he was saying it adamantly, like, if United sign Kane, they'll win the league. We need a striker like that. They signed Cristiano Ronaldo, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
one can make the argument he is a better finisher than Kane. A much better goal scorer and finisher, right?
Maybe,
we agree on that.
Continue.
But Kane, Gary Neville, after talking about it, saying, after going on the whole Kane, and then Gary Neville's like, I still think United will finish third in the league. And I was like, how can you say that after saying Kane? If you get Kane, you'll win the league hands down. To then go, we'll still finish third with Ronaldo.
I get what you're saying.
I was just like
he's
annoyed.
allowed to change his opinion.
He wasn't changing his opinion. He was hypothetically saying.
Well, yeah, but that isn't this is a change, essentially a change of opinion. He doesn't have to go. Well, it's a similarly good striker, so I think he'll do similarly as well.
There is a possibility that they had that they would have signed Kane, and now at this point he'd still be going. I think United will finish third.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was that he was just saying because he was thinking. I think it was he was saying going, we're not signing Kane, so I can say it.
Fair.
I would say that's
I
probably
don't
a strong
remember that
possibility
him being linked to United.
he was linked to
Not
United
so.
for like a week towards the end of the saga, which
Because
was
Gary Neville
like,
kept saying it.
literally just because someone like Gary Neville kept saying it. Yeah. Kane also, I think, has not. It's like the first time he's not scored in one of the first 4 games or something.
He's been really
Oh,
bad.
also, fun fact, that Bose did score, and that game finished 3-3.
But hey,
They
You were
scored in
supposed
the 96th minute, so it's literally just finished, and yeah, 96th
So was
minute
that live
equaliser.
score? That finished live score.
Finished 3-3. Barcelona have also equalised against Granada.
oh my god,
Apparently, it's in the 90th
Doesn't-
minute.
doesn't fit our theme of shitting on them though. So how about we leave that out?
Well, I mean,
We
it's
just-
still Granada, who they should have been. You would think they'd be. Granada are sitting down in 17th at the moment, with three draws and 2 losses if this game ends 1-1.
Yeah,
So they should be winning that. But
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
what were
fair.
we talking about before?
United, Gary
just-
Neville,
And Harry
Ronaldo.
Kane.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. Harry Kane hasn't scored, and I don't know if he's even had a shot on target.
has he played much since the this saga
Yeah,
kind
since
of
he
ended?
came back, he's played 3 games. He scored. He scored in the Conference League like a few weeks ago, wasn't it? And then
Oh.
hasn't done anything since.
Oh,
He's had
Fair.
on average, he's actually played in all 4 games, but he's only started 3 of them. Has on average 1 shot per game,
yeah.
which is not what you would be expecting of a 150 to 160 million player.
Yeah,
I did enjoy his, and I find it so funny his complete backtrack of the situation on because of the fan support. I decided to stay at the club,
yeah. Trying to reel it in.
and then to make matters worse, he had to add in, "I decided to stay at the club this summer." To say,
For now, until
Yeah,
another
for
transfer
now.
window opens
till the
up
next
again.
window when I leave again.
I did find it interesting to find out that he's represented by his brother. For such a high-profile player not to have.
You would be
Like,
surprised
a
at how often
professional
that
agent.
happens. Like
It's
there
a
are,
pity
job.
there are a lot of footballers that are represented by parents or
Momagers and yeah.
Mama
Messi's-
Kate say,
Messi's
Mama
agent is
Kate
his dad.
saying, "You let your brother agent you
Oh,
right
I
now."
did hear about that, yeah. Yeah, it's like, when the older brother, he's out playing with his friends, and the mom's like, no, take your younger brother with you. It's like, no, I don't want to.
No.
Right. I think that's all the news.
I think so. Unless
Yes.
Keane has anything.
Westkeane suddenly came up with something in the last.
Yeah, 40 minutes.
Kevin,
Yeah,
enough time.
We're good. We're good.
all right.
I mean, I
let's
did
move
feel
on.
bad for how little news I had and how much news all you had. I was like, I feel like I just didn't pay attention to anything for last week.
To be
but
fair, you were napping during the production meeting,
I
so
was.
it's okay.
Well, no, I wasn't.
You admit it.
We got
I
you
wasn't.
there. We
I
got you there.
had a nap about 7 o'clock. I was finishing my dinner when he's texted.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I will admit that I did have a nap today, but it was at like 7 o'clock.
Classic old man Keane.
I know.
Old man Keane. The good, the
Um,
old, and the mic.
All right, let's move on then from the news to what we're going to talk today about other sporting content that we
Yes.
consume, like other
So our-
podcasts, YouTube channels,
Our rivals.
our main rivals that you
That's
should.
that's a bit much. One is
that's-
clearly doing better than the other.
It's other content that we would recommend, but only after
Yes.
you're finished listening to us.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, Keane, do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Since how you had
So
the
I'm
news.
just- Yeah. Thanks very much.
No worries. Figured you
Just-
might want to actually talk this week.
Yeah. I do plenty of talking anyway. That happens. So I'm just looking at my list here. A few channels jotted down. Probably the one that I get the most interested in whenever I see there's a new video out, and it's great. They're never really more than kind of 3 or 4 minutes long. And I know Mike has watched a little bit of them as well.
I know exactly
It's
what this is going.
John Boy Media. They have a few things covered, like a podcast or two and a few other series, but they have breakdowns, and it's nearly all baseball. And then outside the baseball season, they go into like football, soccer, basketball, whatever's going, and they just take weird moments that happened in a baseball diamond because shit gets heated in baseball, which I didn't realize until recently. And he has a sort of satirical look, sort of rules
Sarcastic,
enforcement.
yeah.
Like, yeah, he's got,
Yeah.
and he also is really good at lip reading. That's weird. And he inserts really funny moments into these like serious baseball bits that he breaks down weird things that happen, and I fucking love him. He is
Yeah.
very good at it.
I must say, now my only experience with John Boy is, you know, when you watch Facebook videos and the one you watch, and then afterwards it's just a complete random what's next.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's John Boy for me, and that's how I discovered him. Was just he was always the next, and here's a play now. The batter hits it. He's looking at the guy saying, "What the fuck are you doing?"
No, the bit I love the most is when like we were watching someone that's a high pressured moment, and like you can see them sitting there and they're like trying to settle themselves, and they take a few deep breaths. He literally sits there into the mic and he goes, and it gets me every time. I just can't stop laughing at it. It's very, very good.
Mike, what's one of yours?
One I really enjoyed listening to is, and I recommend to people after listening to us, obviously,
Of course.
is the Peter Crouch podcast.
Oh, you've spoken about this before, yeah.
This is very good. It's a unique thing where he does a very honest and funny at times approach to what life was like as a professional footballer. And he goes like random things like you'll have the kit man and say they don't own their kits. Something I learned is, you know, when start of games you see people with their little bags and all.
Yeah.
That's not actually their boots they're carrying.
Yeah, because they...
It's shower gel and shampoo because it's not supplied in the dressing room. That's all it is. I was like,
their boots are all laid out for them there.
That
They're
would make
kept
sense.
in the boot room.
yeah. And there's funny things like he'd say the one person he would go into the bathroom after Robert Hoot, and Hoot knew that. Hoot was very passionate about and proud of his work he did in the bathroom stall. And stuff like that, and you're like, this is amazing.
I have heard some of his stories, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a very funny person to listen to. He actually talks well.
Yeah.
So I do like him.
So it is one I would say is worth a listen.
I'll have to give his podcast a go.
I'm actually gonna put that on the list. But can I just add my favorite Peter Crouch moment of all time? I think I was telling you this months ago, and it happened when Paddy Power signed him as like an ambassador, and they had
Crouch.
They're like a fake meeting that they put up on Facebook where they're like, all right, Peter, we're going to see what kind of things we want to get you to do. And the first idea we have here is we want you to give lads advice on how to pull birds that are far more attractive than you are. And Peter Crouch just sat there and he's like, I don't see how that's relevant to me, but yeah, sure, I'll do that.
He can take the piss out of himself, to be fair.
He can.
He does.
Which is fantastic. It makes him funnier.
It does.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I had was Jamie Carragher's podcast, which is called The Greatest Game with Jamie Carragher. And it's just he has different people on from football, ex-players, current players, other like managers and stuff as well, and just has a conversation with them for about an hour. So like he's done ones with Thierry Henry, Jordan Henderson, Steven Gerrard, Wilfred Zaha, you know, Micah Richards. He's got all those Sky Sports connections, so he gets all the Sky Sports people as well. And it's really interesting to hear him talk to other like footballers and ex-footballers about the game and about their experiences in the footballing world and throughout their career. And it's definitely something I'd recommend to both football followers and non-football followers alike, I think.
So everyone?
Pretty much.
Everyone?
Pretty much everyone.
And is there subtitles on the, is like a visual subtitle aid?
It's not a visual, it's on Spotify.
Ooh.
So no.
So there's no lyrics or anything. So you're just gonna have to just.
I don't believe they have those genius lyrics things set up.
Rats.
Has he had on yet the guy whose daughter he spat on?
No, I don't believe so.
I'd like to see Gary Neville with the big screen saying, "See, you're coming up through here in this line.
Yeah.
The car makes the approach at there. He should have been over here." That's me. It's true on goal.
It was her own
Tactical
fault. She
analysis.
was in the way. He wasn't going for her.
I'm actually not sure he's even had Gary Neville on
Ah,
in 38 episodes.
prick.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
he's had Phil Neville on, but he hasn't had Gary.
Oh.
Oof.
Cian, what's another one you would recommend?
Right. This one's a bigger one, but one that I quite like. I'm really annoyed because they recently changed their name and made it so much worse, and it irritates the bollocks off me. But I'm gonna pretend that it doesn't. It's a YouTube channel called Secret Base. They used to be called SB Nation. Very popular.
Yes, I have heard of
And-
SB Nation.
Yeah,
So
they're now
have
called
I.
Secret Base. No idea why. They're idiots. But they have a couple of good series, but one in particular is their Rewinder series, where they take a big moment in sports. Most of them are American related, but they have
Yes.
done at least 2 or 3 soccer ones, and they do a good job of detailed kind of reminding of the events leading up to that and certain aspects that people would have overlooked. And it is very good, very detailed, and I do quite enjoy those videos. I think they're well done.
The one I remember from that is the Tony Romo botched field goal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was very well done, I must say.
Yeah. Because even for the soccer ones, like they've done the City United last day of the year, and I think the Watford penalty thing as well, and they're actually done very well because I didn't think they do the soccer as well as they do the American sports. But to their credit, they seem to have a solid research on it.
Yeah.
So,
Mike, what's another one you have?
One that I've only come across in the last year and a half, and I say I've got much enjoyment is Tom Grossi and the podcast.
yes. Is that because of him taking Jordan Love in the first?
That
I don't listen to his podcast, but I've seen some of his sketches. Are
I
very
have seen
funny.
some of
Ah,
his
sis-
skits and they're fantastic.
his skits. To be fair, I think I was recommended. The Jordan Love is something, but I used to watch his skits. But it's kind of, I say Tom Grossi is the one I watch the most, and then another one is he kind of does a collab round table kind of talk as well.
Yeah, with him like
With urinating tree,
Scooter
McGruber,
Magruder is one of them as well. Yeah.
and there's another Giants, and there's a Giants guy who I just can't remember off the top of my head. But they also talk, so it's all these big ones, each respected in their own ways. But I would say Tom Grossi just himself is, as he says, you don't have to be a Packers fan to listen to it, and it's very true. He's incredibly biased at times, and I love it.
Oh, that's very fair. Very fair.
But it's part of the humor of it.
I do like you did bring up on that roundtable podcast is Scooter Magruder, who just does like pure skits, and I think his skits are the funniest thing in the world. Like he is very good at them.
This is Cowboys.
Yeah. I do like the funniest thing about him is that he has because he has like T-shirts for all the NFL teams, depending on which team he's supposed to be
The
representing.
Falcons.
Yeah, and he has just an Atlanta basketball jersey that he just edits a Falcons logo on the top of. It's
On
really
his things because he just doesn't have the Atlanta Falcons merch.
Oh my god, it's so good.
But yeah, podcast is very, and I must say it was quite enjoyable this off season, purely with the whole Rodgers incident.
That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah.
Was it enjoyable last week after their shocking performance in week 1?
Oh yeah.
I'd say listening to him, it probably was. Yeah.
He also went full time over the summer. Left
Really?
his job as a teacher to become full time. So
I
fair play.
don't know how you could take him seriously. Like if your teacher was doing skits on YouTube,
I
you'd
know.
never take him
The fact-
seriously.
Yeah, the
Maybe
fact
that's
he was a
why he
teacher.
quit his job.
That's
The
fair.
best part, like there have been skits, there's been series of episodes where you're like, oh my god, I think it was the free agency
Hmm.
where he stayed up late to see if there's any announcement, and he was there saying, I have class tomorrow and I'm so fucking tired. I should be going to sleep, but nah, we're doing this live.
Fair play to him.
Exactly.
One that I have in the NFL vein is called Around the NFL, and it's 3 guys who work for the NFL. It's an official NFL podcast, but they do like a weekly preview of all the games. They do reviews of all the games. They do like all the NFL news, and they also have a show on the NFL broadcast channel that I haven't watched yet, but is apparently fantastic. But they really know their stuff, and they're really good at just explaining things and giving you all the news like as it happens.
Yeah.
And also the main host Dan Hansis is a Jets fan, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think I started listening to that and got 10 minutes into an episode, and then it is something I want to listen to
They
more
chat an absolute lot of shit.
Yeah.
But it's they're absolutely hilarious. They've been doing it for I think it's like 8 years now, and I've been listening to it for 2 or 3. But they're fantastic. They put out a couple of shows a week, and it's just very good. I think they all also write for NFL.com.
Probably wouldn't be surprised. I might actually start listening to that now that the season's back. Could be. They don't have a good outlet for NFL news, so that wouldn't be a bad one.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear their previews and reviews. They like draft the games on who's going to watch which game, so that they have someone who's watched every game of the week over the weekend.
Are we doing that from now on?
I don't have the time.
We kind
Once we start getting paid for it.
Yeah, once we go full time, we can do that.
We kind of do that.
We don't really. We'll just watch.
We'll watch the same games. Yeah, I mean, we were watching the same 3 games on Sunday.
Yeah.
I like to think Oisin was the only one that was watching 3 games at a time. Keane, you were watching 2. I was just watching 1.
Okay. To be fair, I was watching 2 NFL games, and then I was using my phone to watch some Valorant because there was a big tournament on Sunday. And I want to see who wins.
It sounds like you really need to start pulling your fucking weight and start watching more than one game.
I mean, sorry, I thought I'd be the
out.
Patriot guy. Watch the Patriot. I didn't know you were all into watching the Patriots.
Well, but obviously, when they're playing Zach Wilson, and you know something's going to happen, you just don't know what.
I think after the first 10 minutes, we all knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that, like, God, the Jets are playing so badly. But it's 10 points.
It was only
so...
one. Yeah, so close for most of that game.
Yeah.
All right. Keane, what else have you got?
Gotta bring up the superstar I haven't spoken about in a while. I haven't listened to him in a while, to be fair, that much. But, Pat McAfee.
I was waiting for Oisin to say it, to be fair, because I was like, we have more. There's Oisin's gone.
No, to be fair, I actually haven't listened to Pat McAfee in I don't know how long.
Because I never listened to them live. I don't know why. I think
I don't.
me and Mike were
I just
discussing
get
this.
clips.
Yeah, it used to be on at like 3 o'clock our time, but then they just changed it to like 5 o'clock our time. But the clips are phenomenal. I think
the clips are pretty good.
Him and AJ Hawk are a very good partnership. They're very different people.
Did you see recently when AJ was in the studio?
I was giving him
Pat was
shit
at
for
home,
being dirty.
and AJ was just breaking all the stuff, and Pat's like, "Would you stop breaking things?"
No, I did see that they were. There was a bit where he's giving him shit for it because everything was dirty and unorganized. All right, but yeah, I do like when AJ Hawk takes over. They had a very good one with Mike Tomlin there over the weekend.
I did see they asked about Troy Polamalu. They asked about the C gap again.
Something that wasn't necessary. But no, something I found out which is just funny is that when Mike Tomlin did take over in like 2006, I think, the Steelers, whoever was in charge before then, I can't remember, left him a can of beer in the fridge, and it was like some local brand, very well known. And Mike Tomlin was like, well, I'm not going to drink that. I'm going to leave it there. Then I'll add to it for whoever's the next head coach of the Steelers. But that's 16 years ago. This beer is very out of date. So he's like, I don't know what to do now. I've gone too far.
Drink in case of emergency.
Yeah.
But, speaking of Pat McAfee, it was actually Pat McAfee is how I found out about the Colts Hard Knocks. And he said he may or may not be a part of it.
If he's on it, I'm 100% watching it.
That'd be fantastic. That would make it even better.
I do like I don't know where all the lads he got, got them all from, because they're all very different. Like he's got a Steelers fan, a Packers fan,
Boston Connor,
Patriots fan, Boston Connor, of course. So they have a good mix of people in there on his show.
Yeah.
So I like it.
And let's not forget, he's the only one that has the exclusive with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, the half an hour on a Tuesday. I have been meaning to listen to last week's one just to see what he says, but I do like their Aaron Rodgers.
I
Him
know
being
there's
Aaron Rodgers' outlet.
a lot of media outlets are annoyed that he only speaks to Pat.
Yeah, I know. Like, what was the time during the off season when he was like, so I've heard word from sources that Aaron Rodgers getting his house cleaned just because he hasn't been there in a while. It had nothing to do with him selling the house and leaving Green Bay. And then a while later in the conversation, he was like, yeah, so that's what he told me anyway. He's like, you're just gonna out your sources, Aaron Rodgers. And he's like, did any of you think it was anybody else? Like, obviously we know Aaron Rodgers. Like, I didn't hide that well.
To be fair, it's because I see a different side to Rodgers than I did the previous
Oh yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, a funnier side to him, like a
Yeah.
more human side, which
Exactly.
is true. But
Mike,
it's
give
very
us
good.
give us another podcast or whatever
Podcast.
that you have.
One now has recently, it's another recent one that's coming to my life. I used to watch a lot of all those. I still watch a bit of, the American sports shows for all my American I've got. But one that's coming up, actually, it's my number one now, is the Rich Eisen show.
Oh yeah,
I
I've seen
think that's
some clips, but I never watch it fully. Yeah,
I think it's very good. It's essentially a more production-based version of what we do.
Yeah,
To an extent.
yeah.
It's not hot takes and all this. It's just them talking fans. It's a Jets fan, Rich Eisen, Patriots fan. You got a Dallas Cowboys fan. Just a randomer that I don't that just likes football. That was keen last year.
That's yeah.
And it's very good. Like his reaction to the Jets winning last year is well worth the clip.
Oh yeah.
I watched it again today. Is God fucking damn it! I
Was
need
that-
therapy.
What was the one before that where he's like, Trevor Lawrence is getting married this year? You bet your ass I go to see where he's registered. Get him a nice gift.
Yes,
That's
yes. A week later, they win. He no longer has Trevor.
Oh yeah. Because I do like him on the draft coverage because he's always done that the rich run thing for
Yes.
the last 10 years. It's always fun.
That's the logo, actually, of the show. There was it. I know he has the
yeah.
logo of it in the back of behind him.
True. No, that's fair.
My next one's a bit of a cop out because I don't have that
Ooh.
many, and the rest of mine are all team specific. So I'm gonna
Yes.
go with the Formula One official YouTube channel is actually fantastic. To be honest,
You're right. That is a cop out.
because
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
they do highlights of all the races, but they also do best onboards from throughout the race, where you're just looking at what you can see, essentially what the driver sees, or they go into team radios from throughout the races or old races, and it's just very interesting to actually hear what's going on from a
That would be
driver and an
interesting, that
engineer's
actually,
point
yeah.
of view. So they do have some fantastic videos up. 100% would recommend to anyone getting into F1.
So would you say listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube channel or the documentary?
Oh no,
Get back in.
watch the documentary, but watch the YouTube channel once you're getting into it.
Fair.
In my opinion. Keane,
Yeah.
have you got another one?
Oh, so many.
We'll go with a few more.
So I'll do two here because they're like the last two baseball ones I have. I'm really interested in the sport of baseball, given how analytical it is. I think it's very interesting. I have two very different channels that I quite like. One of them is Foolish Baseball, and it's this lad. I think he's young enough. He mustn't be any more than his early 20s, but he has and he kind of uses an animation style, which is like an 8-bit video game, and he talks about just interesting topics on baseball. Most of them are very overly analytical. Some of them are very historical related, and it's just very interesting. And I like the sport of baseball as a concept. I don't really care too much about watching it, but I'm intrigued to see what happens and learn more about the sport. As I say, I love sports documentaries, and it's essentially what it is.
I
and then
feel a
the-
bit like that after Moneyball, to be honest.
Yeah, oh my god,
Yeah.
baseball's gone so far off the edge compared to what Moneyball was. Moneyball is it's insane where the stats that they use now in baseball. It's gone off the edge completely, and it's very intriguing. But you need to really love baseball to get into it. It's so fucking weird. There's so many of them. And then the other one that I quite like now, he hasn't done anything like this, I don't think, in a while. A lot of the videos I like of his are older, and it's Antonelli Baseball, and he's a former baseball player who spent most of his time playing in like high levels of minor league, but he was like a first round draft pick, played very high level college ball all throughout the minors, and then played a bit of major league stuff. And he just talks about different topics, kind of like eating or preseason or travel at the different levels of the minor leagues and the major leagues and what's all happens in them. And I'm very interested in professional athletes' lifestyles. So I find his stuff very interesting when he does talk about whatever topic it is. And he normally, because he spent a while at basically all levels of the minor leagues and a while at the majors, that he has a good knowledge. Now, he hasn't played since like 2013, 2014, so some of it might be old knowledge. But I still think it's quite an interesting one.
Sounds interesting, all right.
Mm.
Mike, go on, there's another
Yeah. So one kind of similar to the one Keane mentioned earlier is I have one that I really enjoy, but it's more football specific. Is Set the Edge.
Oh, I have him down here too. I was going to bring him up.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's same page now.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a very good one. I think I recommended a few to you at some point, Oisin, at some stage. But he basically takes either moments, players, or teams, and puts questions like some of them would be, "Don't doubt Devontae Allen," and it's just a whole 10-minute segment of his life and why you shouldn't. It's very good and informative, and I really do enjoy it. It's hard to describe.
Yeah,
One of
he
those you have to
kind of
listen to.
He has it is one of those ones that even though it is YouTube and it's visual, he does it is basically a podcast, like a shorter. You don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
And his stuff tends to be very well done.
I feel like you did send me one or two before, and they were very good. I'm looking them up now, and yeah, I feel like I've seen some of his stuff, and they have been very good.
Mm.
I see his most latest one is building the most functional.
I watched
Team.
some of that. It's very weird, but
I
quite
only see
enjoyable.
one player, and I'm like, that's just a cheap shot.
Yeah, they're all cheap shots. That's the point of the video.
Yeah, but one's a real cheap shot.
All right, and then, all right, let's do this to finish it off, right? I'm a 49ers fan. Keane, you're a Browns fan. Mike, you're a Patriots fan. Do you have, if you had to recommend one podcast or one piece of content for your team, do you have something? Mike, you go first.
Yes.
Oh, you go. I like the way you
Reverse circuit, snake it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
snake it back.
I like to
Oh.
keep you on your toes.
Well, generic Patriots one I would go is the Patriots Press Pass. There's about 2 separate podcasts that go on at the same time, hand in hand with it. So it's pretty solid. You got one that's with Greg Bedard, journalist. He reads out, and another one with Evan Lazar, who's at the games, and you get the interviews with the coaches and stuff. Fun fact, Evan Lazar is the guy that's dog interrupted him during his conference with Bill Belichick and made him smile.
Oh yeah.
You love to see it.
So I was like, that's my thing. That was a nice
Yeah.
moment. That's my
Keen.
generic Patriots one.
Keane, what do you got for the Browns?
All right. So there probably are podcasts for the Browns that I have never bothered to look up. Maybe I will. Who knows? But the one piece of content that I do like that they do is they're building the Browns series on YouTube. And they're just short, like 20-minute episodes that detail kind of the preseason primarily, and kind of like they started off very early in the off season, and kind of they had long episodes talking about when they signed Jadeveon Clowney and was it John Johnson III, and then they kind of went in through the draft process, and it's very interesting. It's something that I enjoy.
So what you're saying is there's a gap in the market. We could do a spin-off podcast to close
No,
it down.
I'm saying
Just for the
there
Browns.
probably is one. I just don't listen to it.
You don't
Dog
listen
pound
to it
defense with
yet.
Keane Rush.
Oh my god. My dog pound defense. We could call it Chub Hub.
Ooh.
The
Yeah,
Chub
Keane,
Cast.
given your recent search history, it's probably
Maybe
best we
not.
don't call it
Yeah,
that.
maybe not.
Yeah.
Chub Hub, Young Boys. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just not.
My-
Mark Noble's penalties.
Oh god.
Mine for the 49ers is called the Candlestick Chronicles, and it's with Chris Biederman. He's a beat reporter for a newspaper called the Sacramento Bee in San Francisco, in Sacramento, obviously. But he's like at all the 49ers games, and he's one of the reporters who's in the locker rooms talking to the players. So he has close connections within the locker room and within the organization, and can
And
just
ties
give
with the hospital.
some really interesting points of view, and like just gets a real insight into the organization, which can be really interesting at times. And has had a number of players on his podcast, like George Kittle's been on a few times and stuff like that. So it's really interesting to hear other like actual players discussing things with him as well. But that'd be my 49ers recommendation.
Can I
Yeah.
take At Home with Baker Mayfield and say they're essentially Cleveland Browns content, since there's more than one Brown, and I feel like we can take them. I can call them.
I'm going to count it. I'm going to allow it.
Yeah, I think
It's a
At Home
really
with Baker Mayfield.
podcast.
Content.
it's content.
We only say content.
Oh, then I'm taking the Belichick Subway ads.
Yeah. But I'm
And
Tom
what
Brady.
49er? Yeah. What 49er ad are you taking?
I am
See,
going
nobody
to take
cares.
one.
Actually, good thing I don't think I've seen one.
No, I can't think of
Has
any.
there been one?
No, I can't think of any either.
I'd say if anyone would be Kittle
Oh, it has to be, yeah.
or what's use check with orange juice, but
Oh,
that's the only two I can think
Juice.
on top of my
The
head.
juice.
A juice
Got
is
loose
loose,
check.
but then you can't really say the juice is loose.
You can't say that
yeah,
anymore.
you
no.
probably wouldn't want that tied to your brand if you were advertising
Yeah.
something.
No.
For Carl use check.
He's still playing.
Call
Yeah.
check is still playing, yeah?
Oh.
Did you not hear O'Shea at one stage going, "Oh God, the juice is down injured"?
Oh, he did say that, yeah.
It was
I
just
was thinking
crap.
he's getting... Oh, he's only 30. I thought he was older than that.
He,
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
believe, signed a new. I'm not sure when his contract is up, actually.
How many
in March
fullbacks are in
15,
the NFL?
2021, Jusek signed a 5-year contract worth $27 million.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Not many. Like, I think our three teams all have a fullback, but they're weird.
We use the juice so often as well. He apparently played QB in high school, and put a video of him when they when they announced the 53-man roster, and it was just Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Juszczyk put up a video on his Twitter of him warming up his arm.
Big fan. Get
Yeah,
the
that's
trick
just
plays in with
weird.
the juice.
Right. We'll leave it there. So, unless anyone has anything else they want to mention before we finish
No,
up.
think we're good.
Yep.
Excellent. Good podcast, lads. Well done. Remember, thanks for listening, and feed the algorithm.